Okay, so I have one of my good friends with me today, JP. He is a fellow entrepreneur and business owner. So I wanted him to come try out the Coda chair that I got in my office. And I said, JP, now that I have you here, let me ask you some good questions about business. Let's help some fellow entrepreneurs out there. So grateful to have JP here with us today. And JP, can you just tell us a little bit about your business, what it is, and how you got started?
Um, yeah, I mean, I started this whole venture kind of on a whim, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
2013, or end of 2012, I kind of found myself thrust in a situation that life just kind of pushed you, in a particular direction. I had no plan, I had no money, I had no way to figure out what was next, and and as a joke, I spoke about this studio and decided to try to jump in and see what we could do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
No equipment, no nothing. Get the keys on February 1st, 2013, and just coming up on 11 years now,
It's beautiful.
right?
It's awesome. You executed your vision.
Yeah, one way or another, I guess, we made it work.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now
Unlike
that I
all.
have you relaxed, I'd like to ask you some questions about business. Is that okay with you?
Let's do it.
All right. So, my first question is can you share a defining moment in your business that you faced challenges? And how did it change you moving forward?
Hmm. And I have to pick just one, I guess, right?
Yes.
There's been multiple, I would say, but even just from the very first start, right? Like, so I'm coming up on 11 years
Wow.
with the studio, and all of this came up out of nowhere. I didn't have life circumstances just kind of pushed me in a direction, and there was no plan, there was no money, there was no anything, and all of a sudden it was just like, I kind of joked about what do I do next, and as a joke, literally, I said, like, maybe it's just starting up that studio I've always kind of talked about, right?
Mm.
And it was a joke because there was literally no planning and no money and no nothing, and it wasn't reasonable. And all of a sudden, like, you know, as a as I'm looking around at, like, what do I do next, and there's really no options that I was coming up with, it became a thing. And it's like, okay, but how do we do this when there's no money, no planning, and no nothing, and I have to basically open tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta hit the ground running with it. And I just started kind of, like, looking at put things together, and even the location that I came up with, I initially had a lot of frustration because I was dealing with a real estate agent that was sending me all sorts of random locations that didn't match what I was looking
Mm-hmm.
for, and got to the point where I'm just kind of scrolling, like, not even looking at the suggested postings, and after a few days of, like, just really just kind of, like, scrolling past this thing, it's just like, forget it, this is useless. And on one of those scrolls, I randomly, you know, it just kind of stopped on the location that I subsequently chose,
Yeah.
right? And I was just like, oh, wait a minute, what's this? Um, that whole experience came at the same time that um, everything happened with my daughter,
Mm.
right? So I don't know if I ever got into that with you, but I have a daughter with special needs, and the pregnancy really went sideways at the same time that I was trying to do all of this. So February 1st, I got my keys, 2013, at my new spot that I also had no money to
Yeah.
do anything with an empty spot. And oh, this thing is not asking for permission at all. Okay. Wow. um, and Yeah, February 11th, my wife went into labor at 24 weeks.
Wow.
And it turned into a whole thing. My daughter was born and like, actually delivered on February 18th at 25 weeks.
Wow.
And everything just kind of came at once,
Yeah.
right? Unplanned studio, unplanned early birth, unplanned everything.
Wow.
My daughter's got Down syndromes and autism and
Mm.
a bunch of gut issues and immune compromise and the whole bit. And right off the bat, it was just, you know what, you got to make it work,
Yeah.
right?
And I don't want to say this too lightly, JP, but I feel like the universe and God gives you what He knows you can handle. And I just feel like
Yeah, I
you,
think he's got a little too much faith in me sometimes.
I think you've done a great job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think you're super resilient. And it actually like leads me into my next question is how do you stay resilient?
I honestly have no idea.
Faith.
I think, honestly, over the years, and especially when there's little ones involved, right? And I think I can speak for any parent when it comes to this. It doesn't just apply to extreme situations,
Yeah.
but there's just no choice,
Yeah.
you know? Like, it's not an option,
Yeah.
right? Like, I can't just pack it in
Yeah.
just because,
Yeah.
right? And what? The kids are waiting on you,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, life and what happens to us, I think, is obviously something that impacts us all as adults, as parents, as entrepreneurs. And we're obviously allowed to feel what we feel.
Yeah.
We're obviously allowed to take the time that we need for us to be able to deal with all of that. But take that time and then put that cape back on because our kids need you to be the superhero that they need you to be.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, there's just no option. Like, this is what you have to do. Right?
Yeah. It's beautiful. My next question I gotta call. Okay. So what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs?
I think you have to go into it with the thought process that, you know, you're not going to let anything stop you. You do need to come into it with, you know, the thought process that you do need to be resilient. It is not going to go smoothly, likely.
Yeah.
If it does, you're absolutely the exception.
Yeah, exactly. The first person.
Yeah, the first person in the
Yeah.
history of all of this.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots of ups and downs, and sometimes there's going to be a lot more downs than ups.
Yeah.
And you got to stay focused on what it is that you're trying to do. You got to make sure that you're taking your opportunities to learn from what it is that maybe has gone sideways or not quite the way that you want it to go. And, you know, understand that there's going to be a lot of moments where you're feeling like you're failing.
Yeah.
But learn from each one, and you know, each time you fail a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
You know, there's going to be mistakes along the way, and that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Oh, no. Wow.
Okay. So, what are some key qualities do you think you should have being an entrepreneur?
That resiliency is
Yeah.
got to be top of the list.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a better word for it, but you know, when people have asked me over the years with all the ups and downs and ups, how I'm still here and how I'm still kicking, there's got to be a sense of stubbornness to the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You know, like there's a lot of different times. Like when I was, so this is now my third location that I'm going into.
Yeah.
When I was in the process of trying to open my second one, right? Like just move my second location. If I'm the type of person that just believes that the universe is guiding me, right? And like there's signs, if I only exclusively believe in that, that second move would have never happened, right? Because there was a lot of things that was coming at me that I did question,
Yeah.
right? Like, like there was obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and I'm just like, damn, like is something trying to tell me something here,
Yeah.
right? and maybe there is something trying to tell me something, right? But it's like, it might not necessarily be trying to stop you,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
right?
as
Like
you
it might
said
be
that.
like, okay, like bro, like how bad do you want this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And it just, it's like I said, it's not going to go smoothly.
Yeah.
It's going to keep challenging you, and there is, like I would say, a sense of stubbornness that goes along with it.
100%.
Right?
Most people, when they hit a bump in the road, that's it.
They're
Throw
done.
in the towel. They're done.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and they'll say that. They're like, oh well,
I
it's not
tried.
lining up. It doesn't want me to work out. But no,
Yeah.
that's not it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think too many times people take the first door that opens to them, like for their
Yeah.
way out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, there's the exit. I'm
Yeah.
done.
It's the easiest way.
It's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yikes.
That's awesome. Yes.
Holy, this is not even asking me for a drink or anything. Oh, wowzers.
Okay. So, I need to ask you
Bring
because I love this question. What is something that you're most proud of in your business recently? Okay, because I know there's probably been pride moments, but recently, what are you the most proud of?
The most recent has to be this last move. I'm freshly, literally 2 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't even know how to describe it. Like, I've been basically sitting in that unit for 2 weeks with my jaw on the floor. Right? The place looks spectacular. It's like wow. Like I don't even I have no words for it still.
That's
It's basically what I've been asking for.
Yeah.
Like I wanted bigger in terms of the unit itself, in terms of the opportunity that it brings,
Yeah.
in terms of everything around it, right? And okay, 2 weeks in, maybe it's a little premature to be
Mm-hmm.
too proud of it. But there's no denying the opportunity that can come with it, right?
Yeah.
The place like underwent an extreme makeover, so to speak,
Yeah.
to look the way that it does now.
Mm-hmm.
And holy crap, like it has not disappointed to this point.
That's awesome.
It's still a work in progress, and there's still a lot of work to be done to get it to the finished product.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, that's got to be a big one right now.
That's so awesome. And honestly, I love to I feel like you are proud, but you're just also very grateful.
Very grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, especially post the world shutting down for a
Yeah.
few years. The fact that A, I'm still standing, and B, that I'm moving on to a bigger and better
Yeah.
opportunity,
Growing.
growing.
Mm.
Yeah, right. One of my friends, the way that he's described it, it's it's a big level up move,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the way that he was describing it, which in the moment on the first day wasn't quite helpful because it just kind of emphasized the magnitude of the whole thing, and I
Okay.
was already overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But he was saying, he goes like, this is definitely a big level up. He goes, but but you didn't just level up to the next level, right? If there's a whole range of levels that we can talk about,
Yeah.
right? Like if you were at a level 3, you didn't just go to a 4.
Yeah.
Like you skipped multiple levels and went up to an 8, right? Like all of a sudden, overnight, like you just like jumped right up,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, okay, bro.
Okay, take it easy.
I'm sweating here. Take it easy, right? Like but it's true. That's really what it feels
Yeah.
like. Like it's a big move. We'll see what comes out of it.
That's awesome. Well, and you mentioned something about feeling overwhelmed. Like, how do you deal with feeling overwhelmed? Like, what is your strategy to calm yourself and to keep going?
Try to break it down into smaller parts.
Okay.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Which I have to remind myself to do,
Mm.
right? Because especially with something like this, or like the start of the whole studio, like I said, sometimes like there's so much to it,
Yeah.
right? There's so many different aspects of it to deal with that you can't tackle it all
Yeah.
at once,
Yeah.
right? So you know, try to break it down into smaller bits. Deal with today,
Yeah.
right? Tomorrow's problem is tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
um, you know, and just try to do it day by day and bit by bit, right? Like, you know, have a checklist
Yeah.
if that helps,
Yeah.
right? And try to work through some of the shorter term, you know, smaller things,
Yeah.
and you know, tick some stuff off that list, right?
That's it.
I think like as we do that, even if it's like something as silly as like, you know what, like I don't have a paper towel holder.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be something like really like,
Yeah.
you know, seemingly small, right? But you do that, you do the next thing, you bring a couple water bottles in, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's as meaningless, quote unquote, as it might seem, but all of a sudden you've checked a few things off
Yeah.
that list,
Yeah.
and you're a little bit more settled in than you were before,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
just kind of helps to settle the brain a little bit, right? And I think that helps. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Stacking the small wins, you know,
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
the big wins.
Absolutely.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time. And
No
you
problem.
just
Thank
enjoy
you.
your
I appreciate it.
massage.
This chair's something else. Oh, Nelly.